everyone, and welcome to Los Angeles Sports Central. I'm Avi Sholkoff, and joined by my co-anchors Jonathan Rifkin, Andrew Sokoler, and Keith Schneider. In this week's episode, we have lots of different topics to discuss.
One of the things we will be discussing is what the Clippers and the Lakers need to do in the offseason to improve.
We will also make our predictions for the second round of the NBA playoffs.
And finally, we will show you the last week's highlights.
There's lots of things that need to be done to improve next season.
Yes,
One thing I think the Clippers need to re-sign and focus on re-signing Chris Paul.
CP3?
I think CP3 is gonna. I think he wants to come back. I think Clippers want him back, but I think there are other options. Obviously, I'm a Clipper fan, but it's not the Clippers that are obviously going to focus on re-signing, but it's Chris Paul who ultimately is the one to sign the paper.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
If he says no, then
He wants to stay in LA. He likes LA, I think.
Yeah, he does.
That's true.
It's a good town to him.
Vinny Del. I don't think they're going to keep Vinny Del.
No. Don Sterling. He knows that if he spends some money, they're going to do something. Get somebody better.
I think they are, because he did lead the Clippers to their best season ever, and they have a great team, so I'm expecting them to improve as well next season.
Their best season ever included a first-round playoff exit.
But they have
and their best season ever.
Let's not.
Yeah, but they also ended on a 4-game losing streak.
But they didn't really play.
But Blake Griffin also was injured in that last game.
Yeah, but it's not the last game
Chris
that
Paul
matters.
had a jam
They won the first 2 games and then just lost 4.
I think it was the.
You can make excuses about the last 2.
I am blaming the bench for this, and this is why. Okay, the first 2 games, the bench. Let's see. Crawford 21 points, 22 points off the bench. Matt Barnes 17 points, and you had like Ryan Holland to 6 or 7 rebounds. I think the bench, the chemistry on the bench dropped because the first 2 games they were always known to have a deep bench. And I think the first 2 games they got like 60 points. They have 50 or 60 points, and they played better. They were more the starters played more independent, but the bench was more coexisting with each other. And I think that stopped after that second game.
But overall, I think the Clippers, no matter if they sign Chris Paul or not, they will still be fine. They still have a quality team, unlike the Lakers, who are going to be terrible. I think just absolutely terrible.
But let's talk about.
I think if Chris Paul doesn't come back, you get cap room, you sign another free agent, and build the team around that.
Also, the Clippers need to get someone else for DeAndre Jordan and Caron Butler.
Yeah, because Caron Butler is old. And
so is Chauncey Billups.
But Chauncey Billups is a leader.
But Chauncey Billups, I mean,
he's the coach. He's the coach.
He's the class act.
No,
I think actually, he has a lot of experience in the playoffs. I think that Chauncey Billups is just a great player, and he could be a great coach in the future.
I know this won't happen, but personally, I think that if maybe they could just, if he doesn't want to play anymore, sign him as their coach next year.
But
they're not going to do that, obviously. But
this very morning, I read an article that interviewed Chauncey Billups, and he said he has no interest in coaching. He would like to be in the front office and build a team, bring a team together. He does not want to control a team. With that being said, he does want to play 2 more years in the league, and he does want to re-sign with the Clippers. And him and Matt Barnes, who Chris Paul convinced to re-sign with the Clippers, are talking to Chris Paul, and they want him to re-sign.
Okay. So now let's talk about that other LA team, the Lakers.
What LA team? Other LA team? I've never heard of another LA team.
The Lakers really need to do a lot in this offseason if they even want to be competitive.
I know.
I think they won't be for at least 2 years.
I know Avi has some strong views on Dwight Howard.
I mean, Dwight is a great player. It's just in that last game, I think I think he needs to get his underwear out of a bunch, to use an old phrase. I mean, I just think that he needs to realize that Los Angeles is not his town. I mean, it is Kobe Bryant's town, and that he is...
Who might not come back for a while.
And
yes, but it is still his town, so Dwight should just say... Well, you know what? I'm in LA. I'm playing on a team that's very historic and can win. So I need to just accept that and be a leader while Kobe is away.
He's basically acting what he did during the playoffs was basically what Andrew Bynum did, which was let his ego take over for him and become childish.
And look what happened to Andrew Bynum. He now is rocking a ridiculous haircut and
didn't play the season because you're injured his knee bowling.
Right. So he's just
a screw up. Yeah. Also, I think
will they re-sign him?
It's a very interesting question. I hope they resign him for at least another 2 years.
No, he wants a much longer.
I think he's going to
try.
6?
Yeah, 6, 5,
6. But he wants top notch.
I don't think he's gonna stay with the Lakers.
I don't think so. I think
he's going.
But
to
I think the Lakers should not resign him, and they should find someone to build a team around. Andre Iguodala's a free agent. OJ Mayo, top free agents. Jared Jackson.
No, they're not franchise players.
They don't need the.
They don't.
Yes,
when you say the Lakers need a player to build a team, they can't build it around Powell. They can't. Steve Blake's
getting old. You can build it around Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
Okay, this is assuming Dwight Howard does not come back. I think that they can get a better team, like a team leader than Dwight Howard.
Well, they're not going to try to get.
Lakers should re-sign Dwight Howard, but they also need to get a lot younger, which means they should amnesty Meta, they should trade Powell, and they should trade Steve Nash to the Toronto Raptors because they really want him, and they can get the highest value.
Okay.
And just take a year of disappointment.
If they trade Powell, who should they trade him for? What are your speculations on that?
It depends on who's available. I don't know who's going to be available.
But here's the thing: if you re-sign Dwight Howard, he's not going to want you to trade away all these guys to have a bad year.
Powell
wants to go to the playoffs every year.
Powell makes Dwight on the Lakers because Powell they're the big they're the two tandem.
No, I agree with everything you said except Powell. If you keep Powell but trade everyone else, then and amnesty Meta, and you'll be fine.
Dwight,
I think they need Meta for defense.
Dwight is having dominant. Meta's really old.
I think they should. Because Powell is just a great player.
No, not really.
I mean, for the Lakers, and he's just a nice guy, and then he
just because he's a nice guy.
Just because he's a nice guy, this is basketball.
I know, but still, I mean,
you don't have to be a nice guy. Ron Artest a couple years ago, he almost killed a fan.
He's been reformed though.
He really has not. You can still see it, James Harden. What was that? He just almost killed James Harden.
You guys know who's a really dirty player and is not recognized?
Meta World Peace.
No, we just talked. Who do you guess? Come on, each get one guess. He starts with a D and ends with a Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
Yes, Dwayne Wade is a dirty player.
And
he's still very good. Falls. Now continuing on, Kevin Garnett's more dirty than Paul Pierce.
That's a dirty player.
There's a dirty player.
No, he's not dirty. He talks trash. No, he psychs the other people.
Anyways,
he's not
He's
physically.
got so many moving screens and doesn't get caught in that.
Anyways,
that's because he sells it. That's smart.
Anyways, back to LA.
I like Boston.
I believe overall.
No, we can't have that in there.
I could have cut out the background sound.
Anyways, back to LA. I believe, in my opinion, that the Lakers need to try to re-sign Dwight Howard and trade away Steve Nash and amnesty Meta World Peace to try and make their team younger.
So you're not. I mean, it's very rare, but I think that at least in the next couple of years or so, I think the Lakers are going to have to draft some players. I mean, every year the Lakers.
Well, that goes without
saying. You think that next year they should go for a lottery draft?
No, they shouldn't.
I'm not saying a lottery draft, but I don't think they should trade away their first-round pick.
In my opinion, the Lakers need to get younger, which will involve trading any number of players to achieve that goal. So I hope they will have a much different team in the opening of next season than they did in the closing of this one.
God willing.
I agree with you that they should try to get younger. And I think if they're 100% sure that Kobe can't come back at the beginning of next season or even mid-season and he pulls a Derrick Rose, they should amnesty him, free up some space. Don't maybe not re-sign Dwight. Maybe amnesty Meta. I don't think so because they need the defense. But I think overall they should try to get an optimal free agent to try to rebuild the team around. And maybe if the year doesn't go well, fire Mike D'Antoni and find someone else, maybe like Avery Johnson or something who has coaching experience and has been a good